What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Mayrand podcast. Today, my guest is none other than Alex Beaulieu-Marchand, aka ABM. For those of you who don't know ABM, he has been one of the most dominant and versatile pro skiers of the past decade. He has won 5 X Games medals, has podiumed at the Olympics, and has released numerous movie parts throughout the years. We sat down right after X Games 2021 to talk about his experience with this special edition with COVID in the way, him dealing with back injury, and finishing fourth in both big air and slopestyle. It was really good to chat with Alex and have his input on the 2021 X Games. Let's go. Mr. ABM, what's up?
What's up, Xavier? How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. Just quarantining in Calgary. Can't complain.
You're right off X Games, right? You went straight to Calgary?
Yeah, straight back to Calgary. I wanted to come back to Canada as soon as possible, and with this whole situation, to get the quarantine out of the way, so I could go back on to skiing.
What's the quarantine like for you right now?
It's pretty mellow. We're just chilling, me and Evan, at Tobin's place in Calgary. Our coach Tobin is a legend, and he let us stay at his house while he's not there, traveling in the U.S. for potentially more contests. And yeah, so we're just quarantining here, and then after that, I'm going to be able to go back to skiing.
You just came back from X Games in a very special context. I know that you've been riding POW all early season. Tell me about that. ABM going into the POW life.
Oh man, just moved to BC at the end of last year, and yeah, I was just super stoked to try to ride more in the backcountry and more POW and stuff, because I think yeah, that's just where I'm drawn to these days. But yeah, rode a bunch of park too in the early season. Went to the Yukon. It was super fun for 2 weeks. And like when there's POW, I try to shred POW, and when there's no POW, like I still want to go shred. So I go in the park, and it's been super fun. Man, Whistler is an amazing park, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I think I saw a post of you last year at Dew Tour, and it was like puking snow, and you weren't like practicing. You just went for a POW day.
Yeah, well, I mean, practice were canceled in the end, but yeah,
No.
sometimes like when there's opportunities like that day that we had in Copper for youth tour, it's like, man, nobody wants to go do the contest. Like, let's go shred pow, and I think like everybody's on the same boat, and that day was amazing.
Yeah, it looked like it. So what have you been up to in Whistler? Are you just skiing POW for fun, or are you like filming some stuff?
For now, I've been just trying to learn more and more, get on my snowmobile more. Did a AST course that was super nice. Been trying to go with some friends touring into the backcountry and just like learn and explore the zones, around Whistler. And yeah, we'll see what happens for the rest of the year. But I'm just stoked for now to like be skiing as much as I can and learning the ropes of it all, and just trying to push myself. And yeah, my body unfortunately hasn't let me ski as much as I want, but hey, I'm working on that as much as I can so I can go back to skiing some more.
Yeah, tell me about that. You're having some back issues?
Yeah, a little bit of issues in my lower back. That's due to, I'm not exactly sure what, but like hips and all that stuff, and just but position and yeah, the muscle all like tense up, and then it just pulls on the nerve, and my low back hurts, or my mid back gets stuck. So just trying to get as much. As to learn as much from the professionals as I can. I've had access to physio a lot in my career, and I just want to thank them and these people that helped me so much, to like learn a lot, to all the things I can do to take care of my body and my little issues. that are coming back. So I'm just doing that as much as I can. And
Do you know exactly what you have right now, or you're like searching for what's the problem?
the problem's never like the same, or it's never like one thing. It's just like a bunch of muscle that spasm, and in the end, like, something's super tight for some reason, a landing, a fall, anything, just
Mm.
overworking it, and that influences other parts. And in the end, like, I'm kind of, there's a problem here, a problem there. It always kind of changes. But what we
Yeah.
do, that's a big part of the game. Just take care of your body. Be sure that like you can compete and ski how you want when the time
Hmm.
arrives.
Okay, because I was wondering if it had something to do with your POW skiing and if you had something special.
Man, maybe snowmobiling and like hiking a bunch and stuff like that. Like it uses different muscles that I'm not used to, and maybe like that's a part of it, for sure. But hey, I gotta like get more into it and more to get stronger for that stuff, and just like yeah, try to keep learning and just keep getting stronger in all the ways.
Seeing you ride at X Games, it really didn't show that you had back problems. How was it for you going there with your back?
Well, man, at first, like when I skied the first day, it was like terrible, like so bad that I couldn't ski the practice. So I thought really that I wasn't gonna be able to do it. And then slowly you just put your mind into it to be like, all right, like I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get uh get that going, and focus on making yourself an objective that it's in 3-4 days I need to be competing. So then like you go and get the help that you need. So I thankfully, with the team and everybody that's helping me, we have a good team. And I also went and saw a lot of the ESPN physios that were on site that we had access to, and I just asked for help. Like I just asked for their help to like try to get my back moving, get these things unstuck, so I could like perform without pain. And they just helped me out so much. I would go before practice, get there early, so somebody would help me out, make me a taping and stuff like that. And they were just so helpful, and it's because of these guys, that helped me every day. Our physio that was there with us, Josh, just helping me every day. That's what made the whole difference, and that's why I was able to compete without too much pain in the end.
It was you were still riding in pain, but it was manageable.
Yeah, so from the first day on, I had a lot of pain. I stopped after 3 runs of practice out of the 3 hours schedule. So we're like, all right, I just can't do it anymore. I can't like hit the jump. It just hurts too bad. So then you know your body, try to take care of that, and come back the next day and try to like figure out what you're going to try to do on the rails, make a plan in your head, do like 6-7 laps. I was feeling a bit better, then like go back to the physio, like you've done a big warm up, all that stuff that helps you out to try to have your body feeling good to ski. But yeah, in the end, like it just kept getting a bit better every day, and I would try to like manage the amount of skiing that I was doing. So trying to be like, all right, I'm gonna ski for 1 hour, or 45 minutes. It's like with the snowmobiles, I can get maybe 6-7 laps, and that's it. So I just go out there, try like my things, and just like go straight into it. Kind of like you have to just kind of, when I'm there, I'm just 100% focused on trying to land my planned run, and then after that just add to it.
Is that something stressful for you? That context of not having the time you would want and like being limited, was that stressful?
With my situation, I wasn't going to be able to create a plan that was like a plan A, like something that was going to be like completely uh, insane for me to do. So I had to go with something like more safe, something that I knew I was going to be able to learn. So I relied on tricks that I on the jumps, especially that I'd done like in all my career. So in the end, like I knew I didn't have like the craziest run for sure, but I knew that I was going to be able to land those jumps like once that time came. So I didn't need to like rush and practice them so much. So that was a huge advantage, and I think that's just a strategy, I guess, like at that point, to just put a secret, like a run that I was happy with down, and with my tricks, and not like try to push it too much, with my injury and the number of practice I've had.
And now it's time for a first sponsor break. Dic Anns is a family-owned restaurant chain with 12 locations in the Montreal region, and I'm really stoked to have them as a sponsor. If you've never been, you have got to try it out. Their one-of-a-kind hamburgers have been favorites of mine since I was a kid. They've started selling products like their legendary sauce, and they have a lot more coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. Support companies that support skiing. Support Dic Anns restaurants. You didn't push it, but at the same time, it was still a sick run. Like your first rail trick was a 270 on backslide 270 out, which I don't think I've ever seen in a slope comp. And plus, from what I've seen, it's like one of the most tech trick that has been done that day. It's still gnarly.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. Well, yeah, like that trick, it was kind of, I was trying to do like a nose under 2 on backslide, to forward at first. And then, I had never done the backslide 2 out before the contest. Like in the contest, I improvised that because I was like, all right, like I need to try to do something more. Yeah, so I hadn't like practiced that much, but hey, you try to like on the go. The second run, I gave it a go. It worked out. I kind of missed like the other one, so it could put me off for the third rail. But I was like, all right, like now I got to keep like working on that, and I was doing that in the contest, like to try to better up myself. But I had only practiced that first run that I did and that I landed, and I was like, okay, well, like let's just try to give it a better show, I guess.
What was your rail tricks after that? 270 on, 270 out, backslide, and then switch right to on, backslide to switch left to on, backslide? Something like that?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
That was really creative from my side. Of a lot of people were doing different stuff, but you were really standing out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, in the end, it all comes down to what you want to show, in slopestyle, I believe, even more than anywhere, because you have more opportunities and more features than in big air, let's say. And it all comes down to trick choice, and everybody has their own tricks, and everybody has like what they want to show, and then everybody knows a bit like what it could score or not. But you just got to forget about that and do what you want to do. And my goal like was to do only backslides. I don't know why. Like before I even saw the rail course, I was like, I kind of just want to do only backslides like this contest. Like
on my side, it seems like as a guy that's as good as rail as you are, you've been doing these tech tricks for so long that you might want to like change stuff up a bit, try new stuff.
I mean, exactly. And you just give yourself some goals. And in the end, like, I don't know, somehow my goal was like to do only backslides. And yeah, it was tricks that I was like, man, like at first I was like, oh, there's no chance I can land this run. But, you just keep working on them, doing them like in practice as much as you can. So I would like right from the start, almost like our second run, just start trying that right away to backslide like all my tricks. And you just get more and more comfortable with it as it goes, and then you just commit like in the competition.
Yeah, and as you said, everyone doesn't know the score that their run is going to get. Like, but I think for more classic tricks, you kind of know where it'll score. Like, let's say Evan doing a blind 3 swap pretzel, he kind of knows where it'll be ranked. But were you kind of uncertain with your 1-footers how it would be received?
Oh, 100%. But hey, like I didn't expect it to be received well. In the end, like I just did it because I wanted to show that and to do it. Like, and in the end, like for sure, there's a way. Like I was thinking about it, the way like Gepper was hitting the first rail to have done like switch right 2 and into like some crazy spins, and then spin and on that too, and then like have like spin all directions. And I thought about like, okay, maybe I can do just a switch to like blind 3 swap on the flat down instead of a switch to disaster backslide. Like how much harder would it have been? Like you just think about all this stuff, and if I would have practiced any of these other runs like enough, it's all doable. Like everybody's has the skills to on the field to do multiple different runs and like go creative, go not creative and like spin more and more tech, and in a way, like, man, it's just how you feel that day and what you want to show for this competition, and that's
Yeah.
how that's how I do it. And if the judges like it, then sick. If they don't, then like I don't care. I'm happy on how I skied.
Yeah, that's what's great about you. You strategize according to the judges, but then again, you don't just rely on that. You do what you want to do, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what were your thoughts on the last two jumps? The kind of shark fins jump?
I hadn't hit shark fins in a long time, like since X Games last year. Basically, there was one shark fin there. Yeah, I mean they felt good to me for what I wanted to do. It worked out. I had other things that I like was thinking of that I wanted to maybe try, but just didn't have quite enough time on the course to be able to think about trying that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's super dangerous if you try something that you could fuck up. You could definitely land on your head and get
Yeah.
injured. So I didn't want that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to keep it chill.
Yeah, as a viewer, it looked like a good idea to change things up on the course side of things, but it seemed like it was I don't know, it seemed kind of hard for you guys to maybe put your best tricks down, because let's say if you want to throw a triple, then I think you'd rather have a straight jump than a shark fin.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, you need to definitely depending on the course, you absolutely need to change. The way that you're gonna do your tricks and the trick decision when and where you're gonna be switched. Like, so you have to like have a big bag of tricks to be able to then choose what you're gonna do on each feature and how it's gonna line up with the speed and everything. Yeah, for me, the shark fins, I had to hit them forward. So, because I had never hit a shark fin switch
Mm-hmm.
before, almost. In the end, then you go in your bag of tricks and, all right, like, try to make up a run that's going to work.
Yeah, it looks like a sketchy thing to hit switch. I think it was Nick Gepper one run where he almost died and like kind of managed to stick the landing and survive, but it really looked like a sketchy situation to edge cut on those like carving upwards kind of quarter pipe style.
Yeah, definitely. It's the people that do it good. They are great because like that's super tough. I would love to get more practice and try to maybe see what I could do on that. But at some point, like, yeah, it's just every time that you go out there and try and like insane tricks, like switch doubles and like both ways on QPs like that, like the chances of you getting hurt are pretty high. So you gotta really visualize it and then like make sure that you're doing the right thing and take like baby steps towards it, and then when it's time to go, just like go for it
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Is it sketchier to manage your speed on a jump like that?
It felt all right for me.
Yeah, because it looks like on a normal jump you have one jump where you always take off, versus on that kind of shark fin there's really a wide range of where you can have your takeoff.
Yeah, so that's why like it's almost like more manageable in the end, I believe, because if you're coming in slow, you can just like hit the end
Yeah.
of it and make it to the landing. So in that sense, like it's almost like way more of like you can hit it way smaller or way bigger depending on how much speed you
Mm-hmm.
have. With a big jump, like if you're not coming in fast enough, you're hitting knuckle. If you're going too big, you're hitting dead flat at the
Mm-hmm.
end, and that's not what you want. With like I felt for me that just trying to land forward, go with like as much speed as I could, almost on the first one, would help me like get again land forward and get a lot of speed to try to go big on the last one as much as I could.
Yeah. Did you compete last year at the slopestyle?
I did.
Yeah. So what was your opinion on last year? It was kind of a jam format of like doing different runs and every one of them counted, versus this year it was also a jam but with only your best run counting. Is that it?
Yeah, that was just more of a regular format this year with only one run counting.
Yeah. Which one did you like better? What were your thoughts on the different like change ups?
Man, it's tough to say. Like, honestly, as far as a spectator, it was super sick to see different runs. When I rewatched that event, I remember like Kobe landed like 3 different rail runs with like, so many different things. And it was just like insane. Like it's mind blowing to see that. And that can like also potentially keep the sport like more steezy or versatile a bit, because it's like about landing more runs, but you can like have more of like, I can show my rail skills super technical, and then I can show all my 1-footers as well, and they potentially will both count. So that's like kind of sick. For that, it makes it so much harder for the competitors, man, to plan like multiple runs in practice and stuff. Like that's just, completely ridiculous. With 4 jumps, you're trying to do all 4 dubs, like let's say, and now you're trying to change it up like for a second run. It's like that's, I think, to me feels crazy, but then to some other kids that have huge bags of tricks and are just like getting better and better, like Kobe and Evan and these guys, like man, they were frothing on it and they landed multiple runs. So hey, it was an amazing show. Like I thought that I even got 5th last year was amazing, and like the skiing these guys were doing was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So for a show perspective, it was great. As far as like the regular thing, then like you can go more into a really insane run and try to like go all in like each for 3 runs just to get that one landed, and that's pretty sick. But and this year we even got 4 running slopestyle, so that's like pretty sick. But at the same time, as far as a viewer, sometimes I was like, then the other format's pretty cool because people are always trying to like hype up a bit their thing, so they just keep going for it, like even if they fall and stuff.
And now it's time for a second sponsor break. J Skis is a company based out of Burlington, Vermont. Their business model of making limited edition graphic skis that are sold online directly to consumer is super dope. As a fan of original graphics, I love it. They put a lot of effort into making great skis, but also in making them look super good. This season, I'll be skiing on the vacation ski, and I can't wait for some snowstorm to go and try them out in some POW. Support companies that support skiing. Support J Skis. As a viewer, the only thing that kind of bugged me was the fact of not seeing scores. Because, like, let's say on my side, I really liked your run and I was hoping you got a podium and then you were 4th. But I was like, well, I don't know. Is he like 4 points behind or is he like 0.1 behind? How is it for you guys skiing?
I know what you mean, but at the same time, like it doesn't matter, right? Like,
Well, just as a viewer tracking like the results, like let's say you're watching a basketball game, well, the score is progressing, but like the team is behind by 6 points or 20. But then if you're rooting for someone, it's hard to keep track.
yeah, but it's tough because like man, they in Big Air they did scores again, and now like with scores you can't like just change a bit what you want. So it's almost like sicker if you do it with for the judges at least. I think it's easier for them if they do it by the run, because if ever you hype up something like just by the ranking, I mean, if ever like in the end you really put something sick down, then they can like go and review your first jump or something and then like put you where you need to be. In my opinion, be almost more of like we ski the contest and they have like 30 minutes to an hour to come back with like who's winning, if they wanted to make perfect judging a little bit more. But that's impossible. Like they have the hardest job in the world. You watch a contest live, try to bring up scores right away. Can't really watch a replay that like the viewer is seeing. That's like a slow-mo replay that shows like how the grab was and everything. Like you just watch live, then you have to like debate on scores. You have 10 seconds to do that, not even. It's like they have a hard job. So I'm not trying to judge or the contest or anything. I'm just there to do my skiing, and whatever happens, happens. And I just try to not think about that these days. And since I've started doing that, it was so much more fun to compete, and so I've got way better results as well. So
kind of focusing on what you can control and not thinking about what you can't control.
That's exactly right. Like, because that's just distraction, and in the end, I'm just there to try to focus on skiing, and showing my best skiing I can. And if people are stoked and I get 4th, and people thought that I deserved to be on the podium, then sick. Like I'm not questioning the judges, and everybody else, like we're doing amazing things. So in the end, like I'm just part of like, this great show, and that's all I want.
As you said, they have 10 seconds. There's 8 features, or 7 features with everyone doing 7 different tricks. It's a hard job.
It's an impossible job. It's not even hard. It's almost impossible, man. They make mistakes. They know they make mistakes, and like it's just the way she goes. Like it's humans that all have different opinions that are judging all kind of different skiing. That is amazing. Like everybody has their own thing, and that's what I like. Like I was watching a mogul event yesterday, and it's cool because it's kind of like all the same. So you can like kind of see the little differences in the people that are better than the others. But for us, it's like a spectacle that's just like all so different that in the end, like it makes it so much more fun to watch. I believe same in snowboarding. I was watching some of their events, and now the big event in Jackson, and it's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you were talking about judging. One aspect of the judging that really people had a lot of disagreement about was the judging in Big Air this year. How was it from the inside of being in that comp? Where I think it's the craziest Big Air comp I've ever seen. Like there was a lot of progression and plateaus in Big Air where there was the switch 10 era, then there was the dub 10 mute era, then the triple 14, and it seems like you guys stepped it up once again with everyone throwing different tricks with different grabs and so many tricks that have never been done. I think it was the craziest Big Air I've ever seen.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Big Air was crazy. That's 100% sure. Everybody's doing insane tricks. Like, that's 100% sure. Everybody was putting on a great show, I think. And I rewatched it, and it was epic to see. And because when you're competing, honestly, I don't really check out every single tricks. Like, if I see on the screen the person in front of me, I might check it out, but I'm also trying to focus on my thing and focus on what I want to do and concentrate on what I'm trying to do. So I've learned that, like, always watching the whole contest and keeping scores and stuff wasn't the way that wasn't what I needed to do to be focused. So in the end, like, I love to rewatch the event and check it out, and I let the judges do their thing, and if they think that I'm fourth, man, like, and I watched the contest, most of the time, like, I figure out why they put me there, and it's just, it's just, I don't disagree with anything because, like, in the end, like, it's their opinions.
It's subjective to a certain point. You're right.
Everybody saw it that watched the contest. I was super excited, and those were just like dream tricks of mine that I'd been thinking for so long, and I never tried, and I was like, fuck it. And in the end, it was just, I was just super stoked. But the judging, that doesn't matter. Like, if people at home like thought it was sick, then that's my only goal, and I'm just happy to learn those tricks, not for nobody else than myself. So
yeah, and you made a good point that I never thought about, because as a viewer, we're aware of all the tricks being thrown down, so we have the broad context. But yeah, as a skier going on the sled and getting back up, you're right that you're not really aware of what everyone else is throwing down. So what's your mindset in that? Yeah, like, you're just only focusing on your tricks and like.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to focus on my performance, what I can do, what I can improve, like, and try to figure out the speed throughout the contest, try to go as big as possible. It's always the goal in Big Air, I think. And yeah, work on, like, what's the sickest trick that I could throw down right now. Like, that's the only question I have in my mind, and I can't, like, think for what somebody else can do. I just need to focus on what I can do and what I want to do as well, because you're gonna throw yourself out there. I could try a triple 1900, but I've, like, never got close to those types of rotations. So I know that trying that is not what I'm trying to do, is not what I want to do either, and I would never want to try that. Like, that seems completely insane to me. So when Andrew does that, I think it's amazing, like, the acrobatics that he has to do those tricks. I just don't want to do that, so I focus on what I can do, and what I can do was try to do insane grabs, and that's what I did, in the end. Like, just try to spin a bit more with the first 16 I've ever done with an octo, so I was hyped, and then, like, try to do the octo to octo, a trick that I've always dreamed of doing. And I was like, man, what else can I do? So it just focus on the best I can do, and that's it.
Yeah. It's yeah, it was really nice to see how it wasn't a contest of who is going to do the best triple 14 mute and who is going to grab the best. Like everyone was doing their own thing.
Yeah, man, and A Hall like was doing insane 16 like nose. It was crazy. Like, then he did a switch 18 as well. That was insane. Antoine was doing a switch pre nose. That was super sick. He did a huge like trip 16 that was like grab like almost like nose mute. So it's like, man, everybody's skiing great, and I'm not like trying to I'm not trying to judge like where I should have been. They did that.
And now it's time for another sponsor break. Treefort Lifestyles is a company based out of Oregon. They've been involved in the ski industry since their inception in 2011 when they made their first pair of suspenders for skiing. They produce some of the nicest accessories you can find out there for your adventure activities, whether you're going skiing, hiking, or traveling. Plus, I've heard their famous suspenders are making a comeback this winter. Go check them out at treefortlifestyles.com and use code Mayrand at checkout to get 15% off your order. Support companies that support skiing. Support Treefort Lifestyles. You started off the comp with a switch triple, what would you call it, truck driver?
Yeah, bow and arrow truck.
And then you did switch dub 16 octo, switch triple octo, and then switch triple octo to octo the other way. How would you call that?
Lead octo to trailing octo. Yeah, and I did a dub bio 10 in there, second jump. Just like ended up doing Brebby, and then tail as well. I don't even know what that grab would be called, but hey, I just was wanting to maybe do that to 12 and see how that would score if they saw the grab, but I don't think they really saw the other hand on the grab at all, honestly. And it's fair, like it wasn't a big trick. I just did it because I needed to see the speed going forward bio and see if I could try to go for that like dub bio 14, 16. And in the air, man, I didn't feel that much air time. So I was like, okay, like I'm going to go for some other tricks.
It seemed like you were kind of in a snowstorm. Was that affecting you guys?
It was definitely the only day that on the course and slopestyle and stuff that was like fresh snow. So it was like kind of snowy outside and a bit windy, and the course was all slow. They canceled the women's snowboarding event and the men's snowboarding event. So you can think that definitely it wasn't perfect weather, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. Like it was pretty chill. You just had to go straight from the top pretty much and kind of carry as much speed as possible, which was kind of nice because I was like, okay, I can like pretty much go straight from the top and never go too big. So it's kind of reassuring.
From there, they had one angle on TV, like on slow mo, where it might have looked worse than it was, but it seemed like you guys were like hucking yourself in a snowstorm. It looked gnarly.
Well, it didn't feel like, I guess, like I didn't get distracted by that. I just like, I'm going straight from here, and that's what I'm trying. That's it.
What were your favorite tricks looking back? You said you rewatched it. On a personal level, what's the one that gets you going the most?
Man, honestly, there's just too much, but so many that I think were beautiful. And man, Enric's Switch 18 was really sick. He got underscored somehow on that one, so I get his frustration on that one because his first one was super good, and he got like a 38 or something. So hey, poor guy. Like, but in the end, like man, everybody skied good. Evan did a switch trip 16 that was sick. A Hall had like that nose 16 that was unbelievable, plus a switch 18 unbelievable. Man, Antoine did the triple grab 16, but he got a better score for just his first 16 mute. That was like such a high mute. He just stopped that, and he does the switch pre grab triple, which is completely insane. And Andre does the 19, which is insane. Like he grabs it the whole time, and it's just insane rotations. So yeah, in the end, like it's mad tough. I kind of wish that Teal would have been there so he could have done that triple 12 because it was like his signature dub 9, and I know that he's got the triple, and like now Andrew kind of like got that out of the way, but I'm like just sad for Teal because I know that he could have done it and it would have been super super sick. But hey, like sick for Handry though, he did like something that's new.
Mhm.
And
It seems like a lot of people have been emulating that trick of teal.
yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, it was like a teal classic at first.
Yeah, people are hyped on it.
Yeah, they are. But it's cool. Like Quinn was doing that. He did a triple front flip. Woodsy did uh, insane switch triple octo as usual, and like everybody was crushing, and that's what I'm hyped on. Like in the end, like I think even Quinn like doing triple front flips, and he still did like a switch dub Misty 16. Like everybody was doing insane stuff.
Yeah, it was really good to see. And how was your back in that? Like, were you on painkillers? Were you just like managing pain?
Yeah, from the Wednesday, I started to get it like being on painkillers, and I think the more and more it went, the more effective it gets, kind of. So like I've been like doing it for a couple of days, so that for sure helped. And then I think the treatment and everything helped for that. It also helped because that day was super bad conditions on the slopestyle course. That I didn't hit the jumps, so I just like focused on my rails that whole day. So I had a pretty mellow day with like already good warm up, physio and stuff after the my slopestyle training. But yeah, I definitely was kind of like got caught last minute with that invite. After the beginning of slopestyle training, I'm like, all right, you're going to be in big air. So I was like, okay. And the jumps weren't like I couldn't hit the big air jump, even though it's like kind of on the side of slopestyle course. They wouldn't let me. So I was like, okay, sick. Well,
Damn. So you were an alternate. Whose spot did you get?
Burke Rude,
Okay.
he ended up testing for COVID. So I'm not too sure. Like, yeah, we were all getting tested through ESPN, and I guess like that second test that he had to do through ESPN, he tested positive for COVID or something. So ESPN had to like pull him away from the event. Since all the guys looked good, and I'd seen Burke there skiing like in days previous. I as an alternate could have went and jumped in practice. So in the end, it was like my fault, that I didn't go and practice more. So I couldn't let that, be the downfall, I feel like. But because of my back situation, I was like, man, I would rather, like try to be as good as I can. Like I didn't think at the beginning of the week that I was going to be able to compete at all, even in slopestyle. But somehow, like when I heard about the big air, I was like, man, like you get an X Games invite, a place to show your skiing. Maybe one of my last competition, who knows? Like I had to take the spot and go all in. Like, that's just how I am, I guess.
Yeah, and as you said previously, like no matter the result, whether you got second, third, or fourth, or whatever, the trick itself is legendary. Like first ever switch triple octo to octo stomped with so much style. It's one for the books.
Man, it's not even like for the legendary thing of
Yeah.
X Games, whatever. It's just like for me, like it's legendary for myself. Like I'm just happy that I dreamed about that trick and visualized it for a while, and had never found the opportunity that I thought the jump was good enough or something to try it, or that I had the balls, I guess, to try it. Honestly, my skiing was as good or better last year and the year before, and maybe I could have done it, but I just didn't believe in it at that point, and now I just had to go for it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you've really impressed me throughout the years of like every year for like what, over 10 years, every year you get better. And it's really stuff that you need to push yourself at some point, like at 25, 26, when you're not 16 anymore and there's consequences at the level you're getting at. And it's really sick to see you still pushing yourself and trying new stuff every year.
Well, thank you, man. It's definitely a battle, but yeah, I'm happy. Somehow, I barely skied the park in the last year at all. Like, just went 2 weeks to the Yukon and skied a bit in Whistler in the park, and that's it. I had been injured after X Games last year, so in the end, it's all like mostly tricks that I've just been like practicing in my mind and that I've dreamed of doing. And in the end, you just need a big jump and a lot of speed and confidence to try to go for it. Because I know it's make or break. Like in the end, if I couldn't get that third one around, which that's what was super scary to me, is let go of the first grab. I had never done a switch triple with leading octo before, so I was happy to try to try to do that for once in the X Games Big Air before I tried the Octo to Octo. I needed to just have so much momentum to keep being able to flip fast enough to not land on my head.
Exactly, because if you open up too much, then you stop your rotation, but you still need to open up to switch your grab.
Yeah, and then like my fifth jump, I tried it, and I barely it barely came around. I got lucky on that one because that could have been a mousetrap, and it was super close. And then I knew, all right, I need to go bigger. So Dan, the wax deck, just gives me his magic, and here we are back at the course, just trying to go bigger, and then it worked out. But yeah, it's huge teamwork. Like Dan was involved in that jump, Tobin was pumping me up, and like the physio that was there that had worked on me so much, like they all ended up making it happen for me, kind of.
Yeah, that's great. And now it's time for another sponsor break. Axis Board Shop is a ski and snowboard shop based out of Saint-Sauveur, Quebec, Canada. They've been in business since 2002 and have supported skiing since day one. From sponsoring numerous athletes to putting on competitions to helping out movie productions, they've done it all. Axis is the core board shop, and they've got everything that you might need this season. Check them out at axisboutique.com or go check out their shop in Saint-Sauveur. Support companies that support skiing. Support Axis Board Shop. You talked about confidence. How do you stay confident in your skills when, as you said, you haven't ridden much park in like a year?
That's a tough question, man. Just gotta believe in your dreams and believe in yourself. But yeah, I don't know, honestly.
Because you really need to be 100% confident to throw those types of tricks. But then from what I've seen on Instagram, except like going to Yukon, as you said, you've been just taking it mellow and enjoying life and powder and whistler. So did that help you of like kind of taking more free time, let's say, or just, enjoying pure skiing in the mountains?
I mean, enjoying pure skiing in the mountains is always great, at all times. Like everybody should go do that. Go enjoy skiing in the mountains. It's just so fun. But in the end, yeah, like I also put in, 9 months of work to come back of my injured shoulder. So there's a lot of work like behind the scene that's been done. That when you're in those big moments, no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you've skied POW, it's all about like forgetting about everything and just going beast mode. Like you have to just kind of go insane and be like, all right, I'm gonna just go for it right now, and that's it. Nobody's gonna tell me not to do it.
How do you get in that mental state of being all in? Do you have like some music rituals? Is it like drinking some coffee or some Rockstar? Or what gets you pumped?
Man, I don't know. Nothing, no rituals really. Just like keep moving and try to like visualize and just like, yeah, just get excited from the adrenaline, like from the things that I want to try. Like I know that it's probably going to be insane. So I just like get super hyped on adrenaline, I guess, like right in those moments. And then like as soon as I drop, I just try to forget and, just go 100% into it.
Yeah, enjoying the moment.
Yeah, that's when like you get into the matrix a bit, and that's what's so fun about it.
Tell me about the matrix. How is it?
Man, it's an unbelievable feeling, honestly.
But what do you mean by going into the matrix?
I mean, like just a muscle memory that's done like the thing so much, and when you do it, it feels like you do it in slow-mo, kind of. So even if it's happening super fast, that you can like in the milliseconds be able to like feel that it's going kind of slow, and that you're able to do what you need to do to really get those grabs, and like and that's all because like I've just seen it so much times in my head that I've been like able to get into kind of that state that in the end it's like you throw your body as hard as you can, as fast as possible, but in the air you're kind of like controlling what's happening, and that's just from practice and visualization that I can get there. But yeah, that's an insane feeling.
Yeah, I feel you. It must be crazy. Talking about another X Games subject, you're one of the few guys that is killing it in big air slopestyle, but has also been in realski, and plus you've medaled there. This year they're changing it up a bit and they're allowing to have urban shots but also backcountry shots. I'd be really down to see a ABM real ski with some mix of urban and POW in the future.
Man, I would love to do that. That it just got me even more fired up to maybe compete in that event again. Because yeah, to do another full street part, I think I just don't want to do that again. But for if there would be backcountry and street included, that would be amazing. I think somehow like to show all my skiing would be even more interesting as a challenge. So that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it seems like real ski is really draining. Like Phil did it 2 times and then pulled out. Mango could have done it a third time also and pulled out. Um, what is it that's so draining about real ski from your perspective?
It's an amazing journey, you know, to be invited to real ski and gather crew and go on missions every day. Like that's what I thought was the best part of it, and being with your friends out there, you know, filming and trying to make things happen. Objectives every day, you know, because you just have a bunch of tricks objective or spot objectives. But that's what's the hardest is to find all the spots, find all the tricks that you want to do that are going to be big enough, you know, and that are going to show the best of your skiing and abilities with a constraint of time and a constraint of like snow and all this stuff, like, you know, getting kicked out, like all the urban constraint of gear and winch and everything else that comes with it. So then, and it's also the part of like, it's in those moments as well when you're skiing urban or like those moments at X Games where it's like you gotta just be fully concentrated and you're taking huge risks coming down those insane rails or features. So you definitely don't want to be hurting yourself, and it's tough to not hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's hard to not hurt yourself when you're someone like you who goes all in. Like there was a shot of you with it's kind of a rock gap. It's maybe like 20, 30 feet high. And I think you were trying a dub 7 over it and you completely exploded, got concussed.
Yeah, and I tried that like for 45 times before that time where it was like too much. Like it was probably already too much. So yeah, definitely. Then I'm trying to figure out why my back hurts. Right. Yeah. In the end, you know, there's just those were just things that I had in mind and goals, and I just wanted to make them happen.
Yeah, well, you definitely made a incredible part. It was really a great showcase of like you have done urban a lot when you were younger with the ESK boys and with Stepped. And it seemed like for a couple of years you kind of did less, but it was great to see you get back into it all in.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I try to do some every year, except like 2018 that I didn't do any because way too many injuries and the Olympics involved and stuff. And after the Olympics, I just wanted to try to go ski some powder more. I think like every year we try to make a little bit of urban happen, and yeah, I'm glad that I did it. I think it gave me other perspective, and when I did do the real ski and we were coming out of the real ski into X Games, even if I hadn't skiing, it felt like we were not like I wasn't practicing and skiing, but I was like put up to like extreme challenges every day in the streets and trying to like, you know, make those puzzle happen and put together something. And it's the same when you come up to X Games, it's trying to create, like, make that puzzle of your run happen and focus on that. And in the end, like the X Games feature felt much more safe with all the snow around than they did in the streets. So I felt confident.
Yeah, that's crazy because that year you probably didn't ski some slopestyle stuff at all before X Games. You film your urban segment for 2 months before, and then you get there and you win a medal in both big air and slopestyle.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
One of your feature in your segment was a bridge over a highway that, like, if you fall off, you can break your legs almost. And then when you get to a big, nice park jump, then it must be like so seems so safe compared to that.
Yeah, they're both not safe, but it seemed like it was more, you know, my like the thing that I know the most, like in the end, and yeah, it didn't feel like I was yeah, trying like double flips, hand drags, like it felt like, yeah, much safer features for sure to throw big tricks than the street environment where you're building landings out of like it's flat and you're trying to build a landing, like it's never going to be steep enough for this huge impact of a step down I'm trying to
Hmm.
build. So, but the jumps at X Games are meant to like, be pretty nicely shaped for the impact to
Yeah.
work.
Looking back at that segment, what is the shot that you're most proud of, or that maybe took the most effort? Or
Man, that's super tough. That's super tough, man. They all took a lot of effort. I think the bird was one of the big ones. The bird flip, because that was like aluminum and it was like kind of sticky, and we ended up putting oil, and it was just like a lot of uncertainty and a lot of big bails that I was like not in control.
what's the bird? The down flat that you do a flip out?
No, it's like this like whale tail statue, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's actually a statue of a bird. But
yeah, yeah. You do a rodeo six out kind of.
yeah, exactly. And that was like an unnat spin too. So to me, like that felt like that was like maybe one of the hardest maneuvers to make happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was definitely a really unique feature.
And I think the Misty 4 out, like even though for a lot of people it's like pretty classic, it was my first Misty 4 ever, so I was like pretty scared honestly on a down flat, like half closeout. It was like a 45-degree angle closeout, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to do a flip out. Like, there's this sick feature, and I have no other tricks in mind that will work on that. So
Yeah,
let's do a flip out, my first one ever.
yeah. And one shot that also sticks in my mind is your closer, where you do that massive forking with a high consequence, because if you fall off, then it's really high. But also, it seems like you knew the police was coming and that it was your last try and you had to get it. And then when you ride off, the police comes over. It's like just a classic shot.
Man, I could see the police coming in from the bridge, the top of the bridge. We were pulling the bungee back. The guy fucking pulls his flasher. He's already come to see us. So like, and he's coming in the exit lane. Like I was like, okay, this is the last try I have to get, and it was our last mission as well. Like try to get that clip. That was like one of the last spots I wanted to do. So, yeah, I just can't believe that like somehow I was like, this is it. Like I need to concentrate, and made it happen. I think sometimes the pressure makes you do crazy things.
Did you have a trick in mind there, or your goal was still to just clear it?
Oh, my goal was just to clear it, man. It
Yeah.
was so gnarly, and there was
Yeah, I was just wondering because the police came. So was it like you would have tried something more? But
I would not have want to try it once more.
so now X Games is out of the way. You're quarantining in Calgary. What's the plan for the rest of the season for you? Going to film some POW with Blank? Anything like that?
So still, I need to figure out some things to for the rest of the season. But the plan for now is like to get back in the BC after my quarantine in Calgary, and try to explore a bit of some resorts in BC on my way back to Whistler. And yeah, after that, just stay in Canada for this year. I don't think I'm going to be competing in any other events this year with COVID. Honestly, it's been so hard to travel, and I just think it's the right thing to do to be here. And I want to just enjoy skiing in BC as much as possible. And yeah, getting more in my snowmobile and getting to ski bigger stuff and just like get more experience in my skiing. I want to go touring in the backcountry, snowmobiling, and I don't know with who, I don't know for what exactly yet, but I just want to get out there and learn more and more, and hopefully definitely come out with some shots.
That's it. Stoked to see what you will be up to.
Thank you.
So to close off the episodes, I asked people on Instagram if they had any questions for you. Inspired Media TV asks, who is your favorite Quebec skier and why?
Man, that's way too hard. Like, why do you have to put me on that question? But I'm gonna have to answer JP Auclair. Just like he's from 5 minutes where I'm from, he's done so many insane things in the sport of skiing. His creativity in the urban was legendary, and he pushed everybody in that way. And then he ended up also from somebody that came from Cap Rouge, right next to where I'm from. He was able to transition his skills into amazing backcountry skills, and he just like had like an era and an aura, and everybody wanted to be around him and ski with him. So it just feels like he's the greatest skier of all.
Phil Langevin asks, talk about poles, please.
Talk about poles. That's funny. Man, I don't have anything to say. Everybody can do their own style, whatever, and in the end, it's all a matter of perspective and what you do with your pole, not pole riding. And I don't ride with poles sometimes when I'm skiing the streets with a winch and stuff. I think for safety it's way better. And when I want to hand drag stuff and put my hands on some stuff, I think it's super nice to not have poles. But when I ski a resort, I just like to have poles personally. And I like to ski big airs with poles and stuff. So yeah, it's just my personal preference.
Alexandre Pearson asks, when is he going to transition his career towards backcountry?
Well, I'm trying to ski more backcountry every year. I hope to transition my career in the backcountry as soon as possible. I guess I just want to ski more and more POW and learn a lot more. And I know that I have a lot to learn. So I'm just trying to do that.
Yeah, you're in the process right now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
And last one, Laura Gogo asks, you were really close to being third in the slope. How did you find the judging? Do you think they were fair?
Yeah, I think they were fair, man. In the slopestyle, honestly, I think I didn't deserve to be on the podium. So I'm very happy with the fourth place. And even other skiers that almost put their run down like that were incredible would have definitely bumped me out of there. And I think it all came down to like little perfections. But man, everybody was skiing amazing. So I'm proud to still be out there, and proud that I was able to land a full run.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. Really good chatting with you. It's been a while since we had talked.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. And hope to chat some more.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your quarantine. You told me you're going to be playing a bit of video games.
Yeah, definitely just watching a bunch of stuff, contests. We're watching the natural selections yesterday, and we're going to watch that today as well. That's a super sick event that I hope potentially is going to happen in skiing. It's like a big mountain event with like created jumps a little bit and landings. And it's just like kind of a free ride event, but at the same time that's more focused on tricks and the POW. So maybe hopefully those events will happen in skiing. And just been hanging out, gaming, stretching.
Nice. Yeah, let's do another episode next year. I'd be stoked to see what ABM POW has in store.
Thanks, man. Yeah, hopefully we're going to be filming a bit of urban as well in Calgary here. So I'm just trying to keep doing everything, but definitely learn more and more about big mountain skiing.
All right. Peace, ABM.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
So this is it for episode 8. Great talk with Alex. I want to thank our sponsors, Treefort Lifestyles, Dic Anns Restaurants, Access Board Shop, and J Skis. If you enjoy the podcast, give us a review on your favorite podcast platform, follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and share the good word with your friends. Cheers.